What is up, everyone? Welcome back to 3 and Out. I am your host, Ryan Kieran. Joining me today are the resident Pat's Pulpit Olds, P Lane _ Pats, Pat Lane, and Brian Phillips, also known as Brain Phillips, also known as at B Phillips _ SB. Fellas, how you doing?
Nobody knows who Brain Phillips is. I don't know who that is at all.
I'm doing good. Doing
Good
good.
evening.
Yeah, look at the haircut. Look at Ryan's haircut.
Finally got. I was telling everyone last week that I was about 2 months overdue for a haircut, and the hat was a necessity. Got rid of it finally.
No, crazy Matt got
Oh
COVID.
no, he was
terrible.
on last week. Hope you're doing better, Matt. Matt put up, for anyone who wasn't here last week, Matt was our audience representative in trivia, taking on Keegan. Put up a great performance, 4 points in 6 rounds. Would have been one of the higher scoring weeks of anyone. And then Keegan just had to go and be Keegan and put up a record-setting 6.
He got absolutely just vaporized by Keegan.
Yeah. But more importantly, Matt, we hope you're feeling all right. Hope you're staying quarantined and staying safe, and not experiencing too many side effects. But let's get into it. We're going to talk, Patriots Panthers, the game that I think we'd all, even despite the comfortable win, we're all ready to forget about. Preview Patriots Browns. We'll get into some segments. We'll finish with some trivia. It'll be a fun time. So let's get right into it. We're going to talk Patriots Panthers first. So Patriots went to Carolina, walked out with a win, 24-6. Mac Jones had one of the games he didn't really have to do much. 12 of 18, 139 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Took 2 sacks for 17 yards total loss. Had an 85.2 passer rating. I'd say the standout of the day was probably Ramondre Stevenson. I think he had 12 total touches, had 106 yards on those touches, 10 carries, 2 receptions. I think is how it broke down. Led the team in rushing and receiving before leaving the game with a head injury. Pat, did you have a main takeaway from this game?
My main takeaway was that I had Damian Harris in like 9 fantasy leagues, and Ramondre got them all the way down to the goal line. It got them down to like the 3-yard line, and they were like, "Hey, buddy, you're tired. We're bringing Damian Harris in." And I was like, "Touchdown! Here we go!" And he's going to touchdown, which is beautiful. So, listen, it was one of those games where like the Panthers never had a chance. They never had a chance going into this game. Sam Darnold is horrendously bad. Is not just. I mean, I advocated for the Patriots trading him in the offseason, which was a really dummy move by me. But, it's one of those things where, like, you just look at it and say, that team stinks. They're just not good. And their defense is pretty good. But offensively, they have nothing. And, the Patriots were able to really just neutralize them, which I was impressed about. I was impressed the way they played. But, like, it's almost like when they crushed the Jets, like, what can you take away from it? I felt kind of the same way leaving the Panthers game. Like, Panthers couldn't do anything. They couldn't do anything. And so it's almost like, well, yeah, the Patriots played well, but like, my God, like they were just so bad that it's kind of like, well, it's nice to get a win, but like it's just a snooze fest.
Yeah. And the only points that Carolina got were 2 field goals both came off of short fields after Patriots turnovers. Mac Jones was strip sacked on the now infamous play where he ends up grabbing Brian Burns' ankle. We're not going to talk about that tonight though. And then
I think were they in field goal range on both of those? They took over in field goal range, did they not? In both of those?
I think they were both started with at least in Patriots territory, if not inside the 40.
Yeah.
And then the Patriots defense did their job. Brian, you've been talking about it all year, completely rightly so, that the defense has been pretty much bailing the offense out every time that they need to. There's only been a couple games where the offense has really played 4 good quarters, and they just keep it up. Matt Judon is just an absolute monster. Up to 9 sacks on the season. Man. I think he's a half sack shy of his career high. He's going to blow past that. He has a chance to go down as one of the best pass rushing seasons that the Patriots have ever had with the rate that he's on. He just crossed the midway point, so you're looking at a potential like 17, 18 sack season. I guess, Brian, just tell me how good this defense is.
Well, I think we have you to thank.
Absolutely. I take full credit.
That, and I'm going to start wearing, and I know it's probably not appropriate, but I'm gonna probably just start wearing red sleeves all over the place when I'm in situations in life where I need a little more success. Or I'm doing yard work. I'm gonna wear those red sleeves. That way, if I'm collecting leaves and I need the wind to stay down, I'm gonna dominate those leaves with some red sleeves. I'm gonna wear red sleeves in public. I'm gonna start wearing them all over the place.
Matt's got to. By the way, Matt's got to wear red sleeves with it. Like
Absolutely.
I'm on the fence about buying a Judon jersey. I'm thinking about maybe Barmore instead. But if you buy a Matthew Judon jersey, you have to wear red sleeves every time you wear the jersey. Like you have to buy like 4 long sleeve red shirts. And I don't care if it's 95 degrees out, you have to wear long sleeve.
And you're gonna look terrible doing it. You're gonna look awful.
Yep.
There's no one that can. It's just there's no way to pull it off. But you have to do it.
Also, shout out Mike Reese and Matt Judon being best friends, and I need a buddy sitcom of those two.
Of course. Yeah, I mean this defense is nasty. They went out and did exactly what you need a defense to do. Against an opponent like this.
Yep.
Completely smother them, dominate them the entire way. I think they're up to they're at, I believe when you filter out win percentage and you look at that like 20 to 80% win percentage plays, they're up to like 7th in EPA per play allowed, and
I think I saw today they're 5th in overall defensive DVOA at this point.
And then they're 7th in success rate when you look at like again that win percentage between 20 and 80%. They're 8th in drop back EPA. Rush EPA is 14th, just so that I can still own the haters and tell them that doesn't matter. But I mean, it's awesome.
I want to make a statement. Just tell me true or false here. Take away the first 8 weeks of 2019. So we're going to talk second half of 2019, all of 2020. Patriots defense right now better than at any stretch in that point.
Significantly.
Any point in that stretch.
Oh, not even close.
Yeah.
It's not even close.
That 2019 defense, you look back on it and they were like borderline historically great, but it really came first half of the season when they weren't playing too many people and they were outscoring teams on defense.
Well, Jamie Collins was the defensive player of the year candidate the first like 8 weeks of the season, and then played like absolute garbage the second half of the season. So like, that was most of the defense. Like they were like fine second half of the year, but they weren't anything special.
Brian, sorry, I cut you off there. So wrap up what you're saying, and then we're gonna move on quickly from this game because like Pat said, there's not a whole lot to take away. But
like what's exciting for me about this defense is the young guys that are getting plugged in and starting to go off. Obviously, we know Christian Barmore, but like Miles Bryant's pumping me up, man. I'm pumped about Miles Bryant. I like what I'm seeing from Joanne Williams. I like what I'm seeing all over from all the depth guys. And then like I love Devon Godshaw. I love him.
You're all in?
I've been a big fan of his for a while, but like ever since he wrecked like a rep of like power again like 3 years ago against the Patriots, I was like, ooh.
He
snuck in behind the guard on the pull
coming out of the draft. So I've been slow to warm up to him, trying to be like, see, I wasn't wrong.
He name searched himself and liked a tweet of me talking about that rep where he followed the guard in power and blew the guy up in the back. He name searched himself, found my clip, and liked it. So all in on Devon Godshaw.
Last thing I want to talk about this game, because again, like Pat said, this was a blowout. There's not a whole lot to take away from it. Brandon Bolden played like actually well. I've been hating on Bolden the past few weeks because all of his touches that are productive come when there's just no one within 20 yards of him. But he had a couple solid actual good plays today. He had that nice catch where he flipped shoulders and kind of plucked it out of the air at the sideline on a big third down.
Yeah, Belichick was talking about that play on the Belichick film.
It was probably the best play of the game offensively.
Which, by the way, and I didn't see the Belichick thing, but I think that was the right placement of that ball, right? Because it looks like he's opened up the sideline, but that safety was closing quick, right?
Like it was a great throw by Mac, great adjustment by Bolden.
Belichick was talking about like, hey, look at the shadows here on this video. That means that he's looking directly back. Like Belichick was excited about it. Right. Like he doesn't normally get that animated. He's normally just talking like, just a little bullshit, because he's like, oh, got to do this thing. But he's like, hey, look at this. This is where the sun's coming from. He's looking right back in it. It was cool to see him pump.
Can we just say right now, like I think we can kind of definitively say that Bill Belichick really likes this team. Like he really likes this team. He's talking glowingly about players like on a consistent basis week to week. Like that doesn't happen. Christian Barmore, he's like giving out like praise to rookie defensive linemen. Like when the hell have we seen that from him? He is having fun coaching this team. Like that's a scary thought if you're someone else in the league.
A little early 2000s feel.
Yeah.
And then Bolden also had a couple of really solid runs where he picked up extra yardage, fought through contact to pick up first downs. One was on third down. I think one was a second and long that got them to a third and short. So I've been saying that he needs to, despite the playing time he was receiving and their trust in him from a pass blocking perspective, that by the end of the season we should be seeing DMPs from him in favor of the young running backs. But he played well today, so I figured I had to give him a shout out there.
No, and I think that he's deserving of that. Like, I hate him. I've been on record to say that I hate him, but at the same time, like, he does have a role. He has a role, and as long as he's treated in that role, that's fine. Don't ever put him back on the kickoff ever again. Don't do it. I don't care who's hurt. Or put him back there and say, don't field it. Just let it bounce in the end zone. Do not field it. We're good. It's fine. But, like, I'm fine with he's been playing well as a running back. So, like, as your third running back, I'll take it. Do I want him as my number one running back? No. Do I want him as my number two running back? No. But as my third running back, I'll take it.
All right, let's move on. Preview. We have Cleveland coming to town. The Browns are 5-4. It's a Sunday game, November 14th. They're playing at 1 p.m. on CBS. The Browns just came off of a 41-16 beatdown of Cincinnati. They've had a pretty up and down season. They're 5-4. I think they started 3-0. I had it up, and I don't have it up anymore. Had a couple losses. Baker got hurt. The Odell saga. We're not going to talk about Odell tonight. Doesn't sound like he's making a decision. If he does happen to break his news during the show, we'll talk about it. Otherwise, we're not even going to touch it. Kareem Hunt, it was on IR. It doesn't look like he's going to be back. The rookie who was pushing for Defensive Player of the Year, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, a young jock, as our mock draft show labeled him, looks like he will be back, which is huge for them.
Huge.
It's a solid matchup. The big talking point right now is that Nick Chubb was placed on the COVID list. He's vaccinated, so he has a chance to play. It's not guaranteed that he plays. They were down to one running back. They signed Dexter Williams today. If Nick Chubb doesn't play, that changes my entire outlook on this game, because Nick Chubb is a running back, that one of the few running backs in the league where I think his value over replacement is significant enough, and his usage is significant enough to change the outcome of the game. So it's going to be tough. Obviously, we end every show with predictions. It's going to be tough to predict that if he not knowing his status. But if he doesn't play, that is just absolutely massive, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I
like Dearness Johnson's really good.
He's fine. He's good. He's a good replacement running back. Most running backs are getting you within 3% of the same production on any given run. I think Nick Chubb is one of maybe 5 in the league that can consistently get you above that level, that threshold, where it's like a legitimate.
I think it's an offensive line thing and a scheme thing. I mean, that's what they do, and they take pride in it. You see Miles Teller getting the Miles Teller. Wyatt Teller. Yeah, Miles Teller did not get a big deal today.
Nor should he. Most punchable face in Hollywood.
Yeah, nor should he. The whole line, nasty. And they can bully you. And I mean, we saw against Denver a really solid front seven. So I would have confidence if I'm Cleveland with going like straight up Dearness Johnson against, a Patriots rush defense that, is a little apathetic at times and a little more pass focused. But like, obviously Nick Chubb is a huge upgrade, but I wouldn't write him off at any.
No, right. I'm not. I wouldn't say that it means they're destined to lose the game without him. But I do think, and Nick Chubb has kind of dominated the Patriots in his career to this point too. So I think that it is if I was setting lines, it's a decent couple point line changer in my opinion.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean,
has Kareem Hunt been activated? Has his window been activated?
They already said he's not back this week.
Yeah,
fantastic.
So it's interesting to see like what they're going to do and how they're going to do it. I mean, I just think like how are you going to stop? How are you going to what do you take away, right? We always say, okay, Belichick takes away the number one option for you. So are you going to take away the short passing game like Jarvis Landry, or are you going to take away the running game? I mean, I feel like you have to take away the running game, but at the same time,
load up the box and dare injured Baker with no receiving threats to consistently beat you in man coverage.
That's correct, right? And you can't. I mean, I would think, right? And you can't let Donovan Peoples-Jones get behind you. I guess like Cincinnati did, right? So, and I think, look, last week, I get it. I know Cincinnati was the number one, team in the AFC 3 weeks ago. Then they lost to the Jets, and then they got smoked by the Browns. Like the Cincinnati, remember they were Cincinnati, and they're like back to sucking. So like, I don't know if I totally trust the Browns still. I think they're fine, but again, I think you're right. Like, you get Jawan Bentley out there and you get Donta Hightower out there and you say, okay, we're going to stop the defense. We're going to stop the run. Right. And you keep Gaja on the field and whatever. And you say, okay, here we go. We're going to stop the run. And then if you're going to beat us with the pass, you beat us with the pass, and I think that's what you live with. And like you say, Baker's hurt. I know it's his non-throwing shoulder, but still,
he has to have it he has to have it specially wrapped to stay to his body so that he doesn't accidentally move it. Like that's good. That's an impacting injury.
Well, and not just that, but you look at the pressure the Patriots consistently get on the quarterback. If you can get in the backfield and get pressure on him and get him on the ground and get him hit him, that's all of a sudden his shoulder's extra sore than it was already at the start of the game, and now it's even more challenging for him to throw the ball.
What I'm really interested to see what they do is we've heard a ton over the last couple of weeks about how quote unquote zone heavy this defense has been compared to years past. The Patriots defense, their pass, especially their pass coverage, where traditionally they are leading the league in man coverage every year. Well, they're still like top 3 in the league in man coverage, even with this they're going crazy amount of zone this year in cover 3. But if you're going to execute that game plan again, run the football, you're going to get 8 in the box. You're going to have that single high. Yeah, you can go cover 3 out of there, but I'm interested to see if they go with a lot of man coverage, sticky man coverage. You don't have to worry about him bailing on pockets. It's not like Lamar Jackson where you want eyes on the quarterback all the time. Yeah, he can get out of the pocket a little bit, but and throw on the run, but he's not a guy you're worried about killing you with your legs. I want to see if they get back to that sticky man coverage and make Baker beat you that way with a tight box and pressure. Lots of pressure off a cover, like the Bill Belichick defense we've seen over the last 3 or 4 years.
Right. Pretty much since Matt Patricia's left.
Yeah, give us that cover 1.
Yeah, let's get into the injury report. And real quick note, jumping back to Miles Teller, good friends with Aaron Rodgers and his fiance. If you want to connect some dots there.
Yeah, that's where I was like, I can't be going down this.
No extension for
Miles.
Nice little
anti-vaxxer there.
All right, so for the Patriots today, Wednesday's injury report, Jamie Collins with an ankle injury did not participate. Matt Judon got a vet day. Damian Harris, Gunnar Olszewski, and Ramondre Stevenson all have concussions, did not participate. You don't want to belittle concussions, but typically, typically concussions end up being you don't miss game time because the NFL doesn't treat them as seriously as they should. It's either like you have long-term season-ending type side effects, or you're back in a week or two.
Right, you were either waking up and throwing up in your bed, or you're good to go.
Right. So and that's for them, the people be concerned for their status on Sunday. I'm not super concerned.
Gunnar might not play.
Yeah,
Gunnar
got smoked.
That was bad. That was bad.
Smoked.
That's what you get, and that's what you get, boys and girls, for taking the ball out of the end zone when you're 5 yards deep.
It's kind of a big deal because he's been very, very good the last month.
He has really been extremely good. Limited was Jake Bailey with a right knee injury, Jawan Bentley with a rib injury, Nick Folk, the left knee that he's been managing all season just fine. N'Keal Harry was limited with his knee injury, Donta Hightower with an ankle, Shaq Mason with an abdomen, Jalen Mills with a thigh, Jonnu Smith with the shoulder that's been bothering him, and Kyle Van Noy with a groin. There were no players listed as full availability.
That is 4 starting linebackers out of the 5.
There's a lot of injured people.
Yeah, but you know what though? That it's Wednesday.
Yeah,
and they're all veterans. It's a veteran day.
They've had like 10 plus limited players the past few weeks, and everyone's played. Right. So the Jamie Collins DMP is a little concerning to me. Like I said, the concussions, we'll see. There's really no. Either they get cleared or they don't. It's not like you have to worry about their effectiveness if they play.
Right.
And then Matt Judon just seemed like a bad day. So for the Browns, these are some big names. Myles Garrett did not participate with a foot injury. There was no news of him leaving a game on Sunday with the injury. So you would expect that it's just a vet maintenance type thing. But if he's even limited, that's huge. Tack McKinley didn't practice with a groin. He's been he's been very good for them as like their 4th pass rusher. Malik Jackson with an ankle injury. Jarvis Landry with a knee injury also did not practice. Harrison Bryant with a thigh, Jadeveon Clowney, another big name with an ankle/knee, Baker Mayfield with a shoulder/foot injury, J.C. Treader with a knee, and Greedy Williams with a shoulder were limited. On top of that, we mentioned Kareem Hunt is not coming back from IR. Young Jock is back from IR, TBD if he plays, and Nick Chubb and Demetrius Felton and Josh Kelly, their backup running backs, are all on the COVID list. So we could be looking at a severely limited Browns team, which would be ideal if you're a Patriots fan, obviously.
The Patriots are getting to that point of the year where they normally have a bye. Like they either already had a bye or the bye is like right around the corner. Man, they don't have a bye for another month. Like,
yeah.
Like they've played for like 12 straight weeks already.
Yep.
And and then what you've got this week, you've got Thursday night next week, and then what is it? Tennessee, and then Buffalo, and then the bye.
Yeah.
Week 14.
Yep, you've got the short week. We're getting towards the end of Brian. We talked about the schedule when it was released, and shout out to Big Bippers, great name. Judon's wife just gave birth, which is feels like a good reason for why he would have been out today.
Yeah,
hey, could have been this weekend.
Yep. And okay, so Brian, we talked about it when the schedule got released and we were going through it, that they had a kind of a low key tough stretch of travel, starting with going to LA and then coming back, going to Carolina, coming back home, and then going to Atlanta on a Thursday night. So we're getting towards the end of that. They've won every game to this point. So if they can get through that Atlanta game, you have the top two seeds in the AFC right now, Tennessee and Buffalo, and then you have your bye. So if they can get to that Tennessee Buffalo stretch 7-4, and then split those two games, you should be looking at a playoff team at that point.
Yeah.
Not to jump ahead too much.
Well, I mean,
and listen, I think that this is, I don't mean to cut you off, Brian, but I think that this, to me, if you want to be now at 5-4, you can make the playoffs whether you win or lose this game. Like, you can get into the playoffs if you win or lose this game. You're a half game behind Buffalo right now. If you want to have a real shot at winning the division, which I don't know if they do anyway, but if you want to have a real shot at winning the division, you have to win this game this weekend, because these are the types of games where I know Cleveland's pretty good, but if you want to be a division champ in the AFC, you got to beat this team. You have to. And so, we'll see if they can or not. But to me, my playoff hopes aren't over yet, obviously, if they lose. But I think the AFC East, when you look at it, unless the Bills crumble again against another team, you'd have to sweep Buffalo. And I just can't imagine that that's going to happen.
Man, I agree with you, Pat. This is a big game this week. It's a bigger game than I anticipated, because I'm not even looking forward that far. I'm just looking at next week, Thursday, after we just talked about it, playing for 13 straight weeks, and then going, counting preseason, and then going to Atlanta on the road.
Just to be fair, there was a week in between preseason and regular season this year.
Oh, good call.
So,
but then nonetheless, you go on the road. On the road is a tough environment for any quarterback, let alone a rookie quarterback. Atlanta is decent.
They are currently the 7th seed in the NFC.
They're moving.
You guys won't be here, but we on 3 and Out, we'll talk about them next week when the time comes. But they are a decent team.
Cordero Patterson revenge game. I'm worried. I'm not pumped about that. What, they're 5-4, 4-5.
They're 4-4. They've had their bye.
4-4. They've had their bye.
They're the 7th seed right now, because there's exactly 6 good teams in the NFC.
But Thursday night games stink, and and road teams are at such a severe disadvantage, and especially at the back end of what we talked about with the travel, and then the late, and then not having a bye yet, and then having a rookie quarterback. Like, that's a super, super easy game to drop. Like, you could even play halfway decent and still drop that game
right
on the road on Thursday night. So, I mean, big game this weekend. I feel like we're probably going to say that the rest of the way because the AFC is so tight. But we gotta probably win this football game, because you can easily drop Thursday night, and then you have the tough stretch.
Yep. All right, let's move on though. We'll get into second down, get into some segments here. First one, we're bringing back the bag of the week.
Ooh.
In Brian's honor, Mr. Salary Cap. The bag of the week this week goes to J.C. Jackson. 2 interceptions. First touchdown of his career after having, I believe it was reported, strep throat all week. Comes out, doesn't practice until gets 1 day of practice in, and comes out with 2 interceptions, a pick 6 in there. He's going to get paid. We talked about it a few weeks ago, Pat. But I think it was right before Gilmore ended up traded, or maybe it was the week he got traded. But we were talking about what you would what you would pay to keep JC Jackson. And I think that number that you're going to have to match is just continuing to go up, because since Gilmore got traded, it feels like he's really stepped up even another notch from being that solid, start number one corner until Gilmore gets back to really playing at a borderline elite level the past few weeks.
I'd be shocked. I'd be shocked at this point if they don't franchise him. I mean, you cannot let this guy walk. You can't. You cannot let him walk. You traded away Gilmore. And this is the thing for me. You traded away Gilmore and got nothing back in return. Literally nothing back in return for Gilmore. Okay. Like, you're giving up more than Carolina is to get Stephon Gilmore. So, and we talked about that already. I don't even want to get into it again. But the idea is you have 2 number 1 corners, hypothetically. You can't let them both walk and get nothing back. You can't do that. And so, yeah, I guess theoretically you'll get a 3rd round pick as compensation because he's going to get a ridiculously high contract this year if you let him walk. But you have to you cannot let that guy walk away. You can't. And so to me, that means you franchise him and try to work out a long-term deal, or you franchise him and work it on the 1 year and say, okay, we'll let you play this 1 year on the franchise, and then we'll sign you to a long-term extension next year. Or we'll sign you on the franchise, we'll draft a corner in the 1st round, and we'll hope this guy pops, and maybe you come back the year after that, maybe you don't, maybe we let you walk and get a 3rd round comp pick for you. It's like,
well, here's the deal. Here's what you do. Franchise him twice at that point, because it's projecting per over the cap. It's projecting around 17.5 next year. And then, I mean, to sign him long term, if I'm JC Jackson's agent, I'm saying, okay, it's 20 a year to start. Let's talk. And because you've got Marlon Humphrey at 19.5, you got Marshawn Lattimore at 19.4.
Man,
Brian,
Trey White. You weren't on the show, but when we last time we talked about it, but source of a source, it told me he's looking to clear at least 590 if he hits the open market. So that's his.
It's 18, yeah.
Right,
that's 18. Trey Flowers' money in 2018.
Yeah.
Right.
So and the cap is going to explode. Everybody knows this. He's going to. Do you make him? You have to make him the highest paid corner in football if you're going to sign him long term, because there's no point
if he hits the open market, I think he's gone. I don't see the Patriots matching what a bidding war would end up for JC Jackson.
And guys, I love JC Jackson. He is not a $20 million corner. He's not.
No,
I'm sorry. He's
a
the best
very,
corner they have.
He can be a number 1 corner. He's not like the number 1 corner type guy.
Well, but the problem is you're up against it, because if you let him walk, your number 1 corner is Joejuan Williams. So you can't let him walk, because then you don't have a guy that can be your number 1 corner. Like, you don't have that guy.
And you were looking for a little bit like you might be a team that's in a position to draft a Derek Stingley or a Sauce Gardner in the draft, but now you're going on this winning streak, which is great. You always want to see wins over tanking if you can. Right. So no complaints there, but now you're playing yourself back into that mid-round pick where you're either going to need to make a move or you're hoping someone falls. You're not going to be reliably able to be like, all right, we're getting this top corner to replace it.
Exactly. So here's the good news: is like two tags would cost, and we don't know what the cap's going to be in 23 or 22,
but it's going to be 20. It's 20% more. So if it's 17.5,
it's either 120% of your first tag, or it's the tag number if it's higher. So like the tag when they do the new formula based off.
No way it'd be higher though than 20% more than 17.5. I mean, I'd be surprised.
We don't know.
The
cap's going to get crazy, and if there's other deals that come in.
No, I know. The only reason I say that, I think that number is like 20.4 or something stupid like that. So that's
I'm looking at it. You'd be looking at like 39 for 2 years. Right. Yeah. 39-ish for 2 years. That's not bad. If you need to keep him. He's not going to be happy. You're not going to be talking about that. But
and he's young too. He turns 26 a week from today, so he's gonna be looking at free agency. You're still getting him his age 26, age 27 seasons. He'd be hitting free agency at age 28. That's still an age that someone's going to give a bag to. So it's not the worst plan. Give him 2 franchises, get 2 more years to figure out the backup plan, and then let someone else go overpay for the back end of that when he's going to be 31, 32.
Yeah, and that's worst case scenario here. It's not something I see the Patriots doing, but like it'd be nice to give him the bag. But I don't see the Patriots. No. They're going to need a hometown discount.
My gut is he franchises this year and he's gone next year.
Yeah,
right.
Probably makes
I mean,
sense.
I'd love to see them franchise him and then say, we're going to throw the tag on you. We want to work out a long-term extension. Like that's the goal, is to work out a long-term extension. Here's what we can pay, right? Like, this is what we can do. We're not letting you negotiate with the open market, but like, here's what we can do. And, and let's see if we can get it done. And then if he says no, then
shame on Trey White's agent, man. Shame on him.
I don't remember his exact numbers.
He left money on the table, and it hurts. You left money on the table. It hurts other guys.
Yeah.
I'd be pissed if I was the agents of other top corners. Be like, what are you doing?
Yep.
17.5, 17.2 a year? Come on. 55 guaranteed? Get out of here with that.
All right, let's get into segment number 2. This or that, bringing it back. So I'm just going to give you 2 things. It's similar to a Would You Rather, but it's faster. It's going to be rapid fire. So I'm going to give you 2 things. Just tell me.
Okay.
You give a sentence justification if you want, but it's going to be quick. We'll go Brian, then Pat, then me for each of them.
All right.
So you're picking, first one, you're going to be picking the combination of seasons. You can have spring and summer or fall and winter. What are you taking, Brian?
Fall, spring and summer.
Summer?
Oh, man, it's tough leaving fall on the table.
Yep.
Damn.
I initially had summer, winter, and then I added the 2 because I thought fall made it a lot harder.
That's so tough.
Pat?
Winter is, man, it's daylight savings time that tips it for me.
Pat, you're a teacher. You get summers off.
Listen to me.
Winter's football.
Fall and winter is amazing, but I'm a teacher. I got to take spring, summer. I mean, come on.
That's what I figured.
Daylight savings time is trash.
I'm just so sick of winter. I'm so sick of it being at dark. I've been exhausted at like 7 p.m. every day this week.
By the way, can we say we need to stop saying daylight savings is trash, and we need to start saying that daylight savings is great, because this is the lack of daylight savings.
Right.
Okay, I'm not going down this road.
It is. I'm just saying it is.
I will not do it.
Fall is the best season, but spring and summer collectively outweigh what winter drags down.
That was a Pat tweet right there. That's what that was.
I mean, it's true. I'm not lying.
Oh man, he got me.
Also, shout out the Red Sox who are going to bring in Japanese phenom Seiya Suzuki, and we'll watch them all next spring and summer.
There we go.
All right, question number 2. There's 6 of these. Elite defense or an elite offense? You're building your team. You can have one. Start with Brian.
Elite offense, hands down. Dictate.
Pat.
Say what you want to say, Pat.
Elite defense. Absolutely elite defense.
I'm gonna cheat the.
Wait a second. Hold on. Wait a second.
Okay,
that's the correct answer right there.
Elite D. I'm gonna cheat. The best way to win right now is elite offense. I think elite defenses are more fun though.
Yeah.
It's more fun just watching someone be able to do nothing, and it's not because of their own incompetence. Because that's typically what you see. Defensive battles in 2021 are typically offensive incompetence. Like legitimate great defensive battles are the most fun that I think you can have in football, in my opinion.
Well, that and like you're gonna have closer games. Like some of the Tom Brady performances where the game's over by like halfway through the second quarter, and you're like, well, I kind of wanted to hang out with you guys
Titans,
for 4 hours.
The Titans snow game where he throws 5 second quarter touchdowns and they win 56-0.
Right. Like, I blocked off my schedule for the whole afternoon. Yeah. Can we
and by the way, more? That was 2009. That's one of the worst Patriots teams in recent memory.
Yep. All right. Number 3, music or movies and TV shows?
Movies and TV shows.
It's not even close. I mean, it's not even close. Movies and TV shows.
I take music.
I'm
not a big TV watcher, and music versus movies is hard for me. But like, this doesn't exclude sports. I can take music and sports. I'll be fine with that.
I play music, and I'm picking movies and TV shows.
I mean, I'm at the movie theater almost every weekend. Like
I watch a ton of movies. I watch a ton of movies. Don't watch a lot of TV shows, but I listen to music like 8 hours a day at work. So, music, and then I'll fill my nights with sports and video games. I can live with that.
There you go.
All right. Actual football question: Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson?
Jamar Jefferson. Justin Jefferson.
Pat?
Yep.
Oh,
I know it's bad. I know that's
really
bad.
hard.
It's wrong, but I love JJ. I'm not gonna get sucked in to the moment.
Big Bippers is my guy tonight.
Yeah.
Matt, what's up, Matt? Let's ride, baby.
I'm gonna go Chase. Just because it's fun.
They were on the same team. Jamar Chase was 2 years younger, and he was the wide receiver one. It's Jamar Chase.
I mean, you
Love
literally
them
can't go
both.
wrong.
They're
You literally
top 10
can't go wrong.
Two top 10 wide receivers. Love them both. Sons of mine, both. But it's
They're on the same. Imagine that, dude. On the
With-
same.
with-
No wonder why
with the
Joe
first-
Burrow was good in
with
college.
the first overall pick and
How
the first
about-
round running back,
How
The
about
second
people?
best team of all
and
time.
the son of Randy Moss.
How about
Yeah.
people? How about people talking about Mac Jones's talent and Joe Burrow had Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson and a first round
and
running
third
back.
round pick Terrace Marshall and the son of Randy Moss.
Come on,
and
dude.
the first round running back. Yep. All right. Pizza or burgers?
Pizza.
Pizza.
Go pizza. Last one.
Bad burger will kill you.
Yep.
Bad pizza won't.
Bad
kill you.
pizza is good. Bad burgers are terrible.
I love burgers too, but
and
pizza.
right. And great pizza is great. Great burgers are not as good as great pizza.
That's the least closed one, right?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
the least closed.
I was curious if
Yeah.
anyone would say other, but it was easy for me. It's higher ceiling and higher floor. All right, last one, another real football question. Two surprise teams to this point in the year: Cardinals or Titans. Who do you believe in more?
You go, Pat.
Oh, the pass. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with Cardinals solely because the Titans don't have Derrick Henry.
I think
I'll go Cardinals because I like the Cardinals defense more.
Yeah.
I know it's weird. They're a weird defense. I don't know what it's weird. There's weird stuff going on there, but I like them more, and I don't like the Titans uniforms have been the biggest disgrace in this
Mhm.
game. They're a pockmark on a beautiful, beautiful sport. These damn Titans uniforms, get them out of here.
I have one quick answer to this.
Yeah, let's ride, Matt.
I'm gonna share my screen real quick.
Oh boy.
Kyler Murray's draft suit.
Oh
That's the
yeah.
answer.
Yeah.
Kyler Murray's draft suit.
Kyler's my dog, dude.
Yeah.
Love Kyler.
Love Kyler. The best draft fit of all time. In any sport.
I
right.
hope he plays this week. Anyways.
All right, that wraps up segment number 2. We're gonna get
Also,
segment number 3.
can we talk about how they just played a game against supposedly a good team without their starting quarterback and their wide receiver 1 and wide receiver 2 and blew them out.
Blew them out.
Blew
And lost their starting.
them
Lost
out.
one of their. Lost their passing game running back.
Right.
In the process.
Yeah.
The NFL is weird as hell this
It's a
year,
joke.
and that last week was the weirdest week.
Yes, sir.
There isn't a single good football team at any level of the sport.
What the hell
Everyone's
happened?
bad.
What happened to the Bills? How did the Bills do that? Why did they ran the ball like 12 times?
This is the
Against
NFL, man.
the
It's tough to win in the
Jaguars.
NFL.
All right.
Unreal.
Let's get into the meaty segment here. We are going to do a draft of the Patriots core. So here's how this is going to work. Just like all our other drafts, it's going to be 5 rounds. You're trying to build a 5-player core. Again, it's a draft, so no one can have repeat players. When someone takes someone, they're gone. Their current contracts are as is. So if you want to take J.C. Jackson, you're going to have to pay him. If you want to take Devin McCourty, he has a year left. He might be retiring. Stuff like
I only got 5
Mac-
guys. So I
Mac
can pay
Jones.
however much I want.
that. Right. Mac Jones. Well, you're going to have to fill a team out around him. This is just going to be the core that you're keeping. And then, so yeah, I'm going to get a random list pop up. I'm trying to get the autofill in here, and I keep fat fingering it. We'll get the order going, and then we'll go. 5 rounds, it'll snake back. I'm glad I didn't get the first overall pick. Pat, you're going to pick first. I'm going to pick
Okay.
second, and Brian, you're going to pick third.
That is
So, sorry.
Awesome.
Last rule that I forgot to mention. You guys knew this. Audience doesn't know this. You can only have 3 players from one side of the ball. So if you're only taking offense and defense, you're gonna have to have a 3-2 split.
it's Snake, right?
Right. Yeah. So it'll go Pat, me, Brian, me, Pat.
Golly. I really wanted the 3rd overall pick, but I'll take number 1, I guess. All right. Should we start?
Yep.
Let's do it. Number 1 overall pick. I think it's pretty easy at this point. Matthew Judon, best player on the team.
Ooh,
Absolute.
That's not what I thought. God damn.
Absolute
I didn't
monster.
want
I
first, but I thought
almost
I'd have him locked in.
almost went JC Jackson, but I said, you know what? Matthew Judon affects every level. He affects the passing game and he affects the running game.
man,
He's
Ryan.
been the most dominant player on the defense this year. And by the way, JC Jackson, very good this year, only has interceptions against the Jets and Sam Darnold.
You're gifting Ryan
Yep.
a rookie quarterback.
Sure am.
Man,
That's okay.
Man, oh man.
That's all right.
I didn't want
headline
first overall because I
headline
wanted,
of the story
I wanted
right
to
here.
justify taking Matt Judon without Mac Jones on the board. And
I took him
Matt
with
Judon,
Mac Jones on the board. What do you think about that?
I will be retweeting this from the Pats Pulpit account at plain_Pats does not believe in Mac Jones.
Yeah.
I think Mac, as Brian, I think you might be a little lower than Mac Jones than me on Mac Jones at this point. Not saying you're out on him, anything like that. I think at draft time I was lower on him than anyone in our group. I think I have passed you at this point. I'd be okay with not taking him because not this year, but I think you can find someone that at least gives you what you're looking at with Mac Jones right now moving forward. He's not someone that I think you have to build around. He looks like someone you can build around, and on 4 more years of a rookie contract, I'm absolutely taking him second overall here. I pick Mac Jones.
Yeah,
that was the easy one.
I'm gonna start inside out.
Yep.
Eight
Big Mike.
reasons why I pick.
Big Mike.
Taking Big Mike.
Oh, you
Great
bastard!
Pick. Great pick.
Come on down, Big Mike. Let's get that core going. Give me some versatility inside out. And man, I did not expect Matt Judon to be gone.
He would have been second if he would have been my pick at 2. So he definitely would have been gone. But I was expecting to have him there.
Okay, and then KD, Kyle Duggar, come on down, baby. I want versatility. I want athletes. I want guys. You want talk about guys you can build around and build systems around. Let's do it.
A quick note on this. You're going to see in about 2 rounds here, it gets thin real quick. The Patriots have a decent start to a core, but they need to keep building on it because this starts to get thin very quickly. I am going to go defense. I am not going to go JC Jackson. I am going to go Christian Barmore, and I'll just keep building with the rookie contracts here.
That's annoying.
That's really good.
I think Barmore looks like he's going to be an interior defense. Like Brian, how do we feel about Chris Jones for Christian Barmore? A little bit smaller than Chris Jones.
It's a little much. Like I like
Chris Jones is very good. I'm in on Christian Barmore.
I'm a little Malik Jackson-y on Barmore, but I
think he's got pass rushing upside beyond Malik Jackson though.
But Malik Jackson was that was Malik Jackson's thing. But I think Barmore is like a 2-gapping Malik Jackson kind of guy.
Okay. I mean that's a very good player. Did Malik Jackson have an All-Pro in Denver? Malik
Jackson was so good in Denver,
he had
man.
Pro Bowls. He was really good for a little bit. So that's a good comp. All right. Pat, you have 2 picks coming up back to back. You have Matt Judon, not looking at any
Well, I'll tell you what.
I'm
I'm glad I chose elite defense because I'm going to be able to build an elite defense with Matthew Judon and JC Jackson. Pretty happy about that. Pretty happy about that. So JC Jackson is my pick there in the second round. And then, I'm going back and forth on like 8 different players here in the third round here. Ultimately, though, I think I'm going to take the best player still available, in my opinion. Okay. I'll rephrase that. I'm going to take the player with the highest upside still available, and that is Josh Uche.
Ooh. Man, this defense is getting nasty.
Mm-hmm.
So you're now capped out on defense, by the way.
Unfortunately, because there's one guy I really, 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 really wanted to take on defense, but I couldn't justify him here, and I just figured, you know what I mean?
I think I know who it is. I think I might take him right here. I might not know who it is.
If you're going to take him here.
I'm going to try and play the draft a little bit because number 1 on my board, I don't think Brian would take at this point. So I'm going to go for number 2 on my board right now, and I'm going to lock Adrian Phillips up to like a 3-year deal real quick.
Oh,
it's a good pick.
Okay. He's going to be my chess piece on defense. I think I can get him at a 3-year. What do you think, Brian? $9 million a year, fair for Adrian?
He'll do that.
Yeah. I'll do 3. I'll do 327, 19 guaranteed.
Everybody's people helping people. Just everybody's getting in.
I'll move them all over my offense. I'll move them all, my defense. Excuse me. And I'll feel comfortable knowing about that middle of field matchup that I want taken away. He's going to handle for me.
Okay. All right. Man. Ugh.
Yeah, this is about where I think it drops. I think there's like 2 more guys that I'd be excited about, and then I think it drops off here.
I mean, I guess I'm building a core. It's not about a complete roster. It's about a core, right?
Yep.
No.
And so I mean, give me Shaq Mason.
That was. I just yelled into the mic. Sorry.
Yeah, it's gonna be Shaq Mason and Mike Onwenu. I'm building inside out.
I can't believe you didn't. You thought he wasn't going to take another offensive lineman. I don't know what you're thinking.
Two guards. Two guards.
No, Michael Onwenu was the tackle. Sorry. I don't care what they think he should be. He's an elite tackle.
I thought that he would build out a defense and then get a playmaker or something here. I thought I'd be able
Big Mike will be playing left guard for me.
Yeah, I think Onwenu's left guard, which is great. He's a great left guard. I think he's like an borderline all pro left guard. I think he is a very good, above average, good right tackle.
Okay. So I have another pick here.
Yep.
And it's tough because it's my pick, and I'm going to go. Oh, man. This is not fun.
No, this is where it gets rough.
It's fun, but man, this is decidedly unfun.
I'm going to get one more player I'm kind of excited about, and then I'm picking guys that I would view as like replacement level right now.
Jonathan Jones.
That's a good pick.
Ooh, John Jones.
I'm going to take that slot. I want my slot guy. I want my veteran guy. He can play a little bit of everything on that defense.
He was on my list. He would have been coming up soon here for me, but I think I'm going to cap out my defense real quick here before getting there. No, I'm not going to cap out my defense because Pat has capped out his defense, so I don't need to worry about him taking it. I'm going to go Hunter Henry. Give me Mac's safety blanket for the next 3 years while I have Mac on the rookie contract.
That was quite rude. Quite rude.
You got to play the draft. Got to play to it. I made one mistake here. I'm not going to make the second one.
Okay, so
these are your
final two picks, right? Final two picks.
Also, for what it's worth, shout out to us. I had exactly 15 names written down, and we've picked from the list the entire time. No one's gone off the list yet.
Look at that.
Interesting.
Look at that. I'll tell you, I'll be honest with you. I did not have Shaq Mason on my list, and I did not have John Jones on my list. You'll see why. And I made okay.
Now I'm nervous.
You got offense, or you could go special teams if you want to go.
My fourth round pick. No, I can't do special teams. Love Jake Bailey, but I can't do it. I'm gonna go with. What am I gonna do here? What do I want to do?
Jared Stidham.
You just stole my thunder because I really was gonna pick him in the fifth round, but I was just joking around. I really wasn't gonna actually pick him, but it was gonna be like a whole thing. It was like Jared Stidham and then like celebrate and everything. But you stole my thunder. So I'm gonna go in the fourth round. I'm gonna go with Ramondre Stevenson in the fourth round.
Damian Harris. Is that
over Damian Harris because
you like him better long term?
Because he's a rookie and he can do everything. And honestly, as far as running backs are concerned, I'm probably not signing any running backs to a long-term deal. So Damian Harris is in his third year now. That means next year his contract runs out, and then I lose him after next year. So
I would take it too. I would take him over Damian.
Yeah. So I take Stevenson there, and then okay. I guess I'm gonna take. Yeah, okay, that's fine. I'm gonna take. Isaiah Wynn. No, I'm just kidding. No, I will not be doing that. I'm gonna take Kendrick Bourne. I'm gonna take Kendrick Bourne.
I was about to give him a shout out because I would not have taken him here. I have one more name defensively, like I said, but
yeah, the reason why I'm taking Bourne is because he's a good locker room guy.
Yep.
Everyone loves him. He plays pretty well on the field. He's probably the best receiver they have.
He's the best receiving weapon that they have.
Right. So yeah. So there you go. There's my five.
He's someone that I
almost picked Stidham. I almost did it. I'm not gonna lie to you. I almost picked Jared Stidham in the fifth round, and then I said, no, that's all right.
He's ideally like your third wide receiver, maybe your fourth or fifth weapon in the offense, but that's not what the Patriots have in terms of weapons right now, and he's done a great job, and I love him forever.
So dark blue gold. By the way, Slater, yes, mad coin toss skills. You're right. There will be a strict rule on the Pat Lane team that we will only be calling heads forever.
Yep. All right. My last pick, he would have been my 4th round pick if Pat wasn't capped out on defenders. I'm buying into the development this year. I'm gonna take Jawan Bentley.
My guy.
Can't be
I
my
am
long-term
so
high
like
power replacement.
I honestly thought about not taking Uche in the 3rd round just so that I could take Bentley in the 4th round, but then I was like, well, what if I don't take him and he doesn't come back to me? So I did not.
I'm
love
bought in.
Jawan Bentley.
He's
Loved him.
improved. He's improved enough as a pass defender that I'm willing to buy in at this point, especially in the 5th round. Still kind of has that one direction missile thing going against the run, but you take what you get. He's not going to be an all pro, but I think he can be your starting middle linebacker.
Yeah.
Brian, finish this off here.
You're
we
muted.
Still haven't gone. Oh yeah, you are muted, Brian. We still haven't gone off my list, by the way. Let's see if Brian. I have 2 names left apparently. So let's see.
So the best player available is Trent Brown, and I don't know about re-signing him. He's 28, can be 29 next offseason.
He's only 28.
That's crazy.
I would have guessed like 33.
Me too. Yeah.
But I know this guy doesn't have the production this year to match the contract, and blah blah blah. For the Patriots move spread the football around too much, but he does all the little things. And if he was the only guy the only offensive skill position player that I'm building around in this draft so far, it's Jonnu Smith. He can do everything. And if he's not getting the opportunity to show that right now in this offense. And he had a couple of
we know head coach Brian would find a way to utilize him better. At least more, maybe not better, at least more than the Patriots.
It would be to the detriment of the team, the amount that I used him. But no, he can do everything. He was tasked with blocking Hassan Reddick like 3 or 4 times last weekend against Carolina, and he just stoned him each time.
Yeah,
I love Jonnu Smith, and yeah, the price tag's up there, and people are down on him because of the production and fantasy football rules, everything. But that's a perfect guy to build a multiple offense for. And now I'm coming at you with Big Mike Onwenu, Shaq Mason, and Jonnu Smith on my offense. I'm pretty jacked. Pretty solid.
I think I like that a lot. I do like that pick. I almost did Jonnu instead of Stevenson because I was like, it's a running back. It doesn't really matter. But I decided against it. But
Jonnu wasn't on my list mainly because if I was going to go tight end, I was going to go Hunter Henry. And outside of that, I think that you can replace the tight end. But I think he would have been an honorable mention. It was a good pick.
I did think I am surprised. I think
you could replace a tight end like with how tough that positional value is now, and like how tough it is to draft these guys.
That's fair.
So no, it's a good point.
Let's recap the teams.
I'm surprised they're not using them differently. To be honest with you, I wonder if that's coming later on in the year. I don't know.
I think they're using them exactly like we expected. It's just not enough.
You're right.
Enough of it because
I expected
they're so
out of the backfield. Yeah,
and in fairness, we talked about a couple weeks ago. The targets are just so well distributed. Jacoby Myers is typically 1st or 2nd, and then everyone else is like between 2 and 5 usually.
Yeah.
So it's hard to put a volume in an impressive way.
We see them scripting though. It's always the first quarter. It's always that first couple series.
Jonnu first drive always gets a touch that gets you excited, and then he goes away.
By the way, 3 guys left on my list: McCourty, Jamie Collins, and Jarrett Stidham.
I left like McCourty, Dante Hightower, Jamie Collins off the list just because I still feel like Devin McCourty's retiring after this year.
He might. Yeah, he might.
Maybe one more. Hightower, similar situation to me. So if I was drafting best players, Devin McCourty is still probably a 2nd round pick at worst in a 3-person draft. But core wise, he didn't make my list.
So like the guy I was torn on, Trent Brown being the free agent and older. Like I was this close to taking Isaiah Wynn. Like I know we were down on him. Like everyone's down on him from last weekend, but he actually had a really good game last weekend. He's been really good.
He's a solid left tackle, which isn't everyone can't say they have that.
And it's a tackle. It's a body at tackle. You need a million.
Right.
Of them
if he had his level of performance without his injury history, he would have been on my list. But the combination, I would take my chance trying to find an upgrade, knowing I need to pay him next year.
If things went a little differently for me, I would have gone with him. But I already had Big Mike and Shaq.
So let's recap the teams. Pat had the 1st overall pick. He took Matthew Judon, J.C. Jackson, great first 2. Josh Uche, Ramondre Stevenson, and Kendrick Bourne. I was the sandwich pick. I went Mac Jones, Christian Barmore, Adrian Phillips, Hunter Henry, Jawan Bentley, and Brian went Mike Onwenu, Kyle Duggar, Shaq Mason, Jonathan Jones, Jonathan Smith. Let us know in the comments who you think won. I'll try to get. I'm terrible with graphics, but I'll try to get this tweeted out so people can vote on it. On Twitter,
I think Phillips was a reach, Brian. I think he was a big time reach.
He might have been. I tried to play the game a little bit. I love Adrian Phillips though. He's Brian. Where would you put him? Let's talk to this real quick. And I have a Jacoby Myers question for you real quick that we're going to spend 2 minutes or less on because we're already coming up on an hour. Where would you put Adrian Phillips in terms of their best defensive players this year? Because I don't see how he's not number 2
this year. I mean, he's a crucial player. I don't know, like, yeah, I mean, he's a top 3 or 4 guy. Like, I think what Barmore is doing is changing.
What Barmore's been doing the past couple of weeks. If that continues, we reevaluate the conversation at the end of the year.
Right. Then obviously you've got Judon, but like,
Judon's 1, Phillips is 2.
I mean, JC Jackson's
40, despite
been
that
really good
game. JC Jackson, I think Phillips is 2 though.
John Jones was good before the injury. Like,
John Jones was all right before the injury. John Jones wasn't.
John Jones gets hate. I don't get it. I won't go down this road either.
He was fine. I don't hate him. He was fine. All right. Jacoby Myers,
it's
Brian.
Stressful position they put him in.
Brian, yeah. It is. Brian, you said we need to have a conversation about Jacoby Myers. We are approaching 57 minutes on the clock coming up. I'm going to give you till 58 to rant about Jacoby Myers. We will have no responses, Pat. I just want to hear what Brian thinks, and then we're going to get to trivia.
I love Jacoby Myers. I love the player he is. I love the man he is. I love his perfect quarterback rating. I love lots of stuff about Jacoby Myers. Nobody has more respect for Jacoby Myers. We have to stop with him, guys. He's not very good. He's just not very good. He gets open in the slot in the NFL like all slot receivers do. He has okay hands. He gets worked physically. He doesn't have sideline skills. He doesn't have great red zone skills. He isn't fast. He doesn't have any yak ability. He is a fun person and a very awesome story and a fun guy to root for and a great thrower of the football and an excellent complement to 3 other wide receivers.
All right, Pat, he gave us 10 seconds, so I want one word. Just agree or disagree.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I love him, but I agree.
I agree as well. I've been saying
Jacoby Myers respecters here on
yeah. Listen, he's a guy I want on the team. He's a guy I want on my team. Not as my number 1 wide receiver. Not as my number 2 wide receiver.
Because it makes optically it impossible for him to turn into your number 4 when it's time. But if he was like a 10-year number 4 for the Patriots, he'd be one of my favorite players.
I wonder though if the Patriots, because the Patriots do this stuff, if they're like, hey, look, we know he's not a number 1. So when we bring in more guys, we just keep him around and he's our number 4. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Well, they got to have somebody sign the $3 million a year deal.
Right.
You know, like,
right.
All right. Let's get into trivia. Third down.
Let's go, baby.
Let's set the table. Anyone? We've been we kind of stagnated on viewers throughout the middle part of the season.
No, hold on. Now, your boy Big Bippers over here. What are you talking about, dude?
We're gonna avoid that because we are already into the hour mark. Yeah, that's not correct. But we have been slowly increasing in viewers the past few weeks, which I truly appreciate, you guys. I appreciate everyone tuning in. We stagnated a little bit in the middle of the year. We're starting to grow again. Which
okay. Wait, he's clarified. Shouldn't be a wide receiver 1, but super quarterback. Okay.
But Julian gave a yak.
Far superior to Jacoby Myers. So.
Okay.
Anyways,
so if you guys haven't, if this is your first week watching, or maybe you tuned in for parts of previous weeks, so here's how trivia works: 6 rounds, two questions each round. Each guy gets 1 question. You get it right, you get a point. You get it wrong, your opponent has a chance to steal. Whoever has the most points at the end of 6 rounds wins. If it's a tie, we have a tiebreaker question. Haven't had a tie yet this season.
Brian, switch to private chat.
Make sure you guys are in private chat. So that
I always almost forget until the middle of the first question. I'm like, oh crap, I gotta switch.
If you guys haven't been watching all season, Pat is our current 1 seed. Pat took down Keegan a couple weeks ago when both were 3-0. Keegan looks like the golden.
Keegan?
Yep,
I did.
Yeah, Keegan looks like the golden boy of the trivia, and Pat said, "All right, that's nice. I'm going to score 5 points, and I'm going to get out of here 4-0." So Pat's the 1 seed, 4-0. Brian or 3-0, 3-0. I apologize, Pat. You're 3-0. Brian is 1-3. He is our most. I think him and Keegan are tied with the most trivia appearances that he is breaking with this appearance. He is 1-3. He lost week 1 to Keegan. He lost a few weeks later, Keegan. He lost to Mark Schofield in the middle. And then
The
last
Mark
time
Schofield one was tough, man. That was a tough one.
Yep. And then he pulled out a win against our last remaining winless contestant here in Spags.
We love you, Spags.
Spags, to be fair, no offense, Brian, Spags should have won that game. He had a couple gimmies that he kind of just blanked on in the moment, which happens when you're doing trivia. So Brian held it together. Brian, you get this win and you're pushing back towards 500.
Brian, the problem is
more than likely take back the 1 seed from Pat,
Hey,
and we got a ball game.
competition committee is going to really like me taking down a 1 seed.
I mean, that's the problem is Brian is like the unranked guy who's like played all the best teams and lost like close to all the best teams.
He did. He lost close to Keegan twice, and
That's what I mean.
He's
I
lost
lost by
hard
like 10,000 miles of conquered territory of Kangas Khan.
That's what I mean.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, come on. Like
What's
that's
a few
just
thousand miles, right?
We're gonna have an end of season tournament between the 4 Pats Public guys, Keegan, Pat, Brian, and Spags. So they're battling for seeding in that, and I don't think that despite Spags being still winless, I don't think that there is anyone that you can kind of count out of that competition right now. Spags had a good performance. In his last one. He had a couple
Spags and I the first
questions before his time too. He was pulling a couple good.
Brian, did you see the first one with me and Spags? I won the
was
first
1-0.
trivia 1-0 against Spags.
And in their fairness, that 1-0 was week 2. I was still calibrating difficulty,
It was so
and they
hard,
got extremely hard questions. I was still calibrating difficulty. All right, let's get into it though. Round 1 is always the matchup of the week: Cleveland versus New England. So any question. This doesn't really apply this week, but any question involving names of players only applies to their history in this matchup. So that's where we'll go with that. We're going to do a coin flip here to determine the draft order. Brian, as the lower ranked team, the away team, if you will, you get to call it in the air in 3, 2, 1.
Heads.
Always call heads.
It is tails. Pat, would you like to go first or second?
I'll go second.
You're going to go second? All right, so we're going to keep the order as is, which means, Brian, this question is for you. I'm going to put a 30-second timer up.
Ready.
Let me get that ready, and then we will get into it. So you're going to have 30 seconds to answer the question. I'll give you a heads up when time's running down. And then, Pat, if he gets it wrong, you'll have 10 seconds to steal.
Okay.
And it's from the time I finished reading the question. Chat, feel free to play along in their comments. These guys are men of honor looking at private chats, so they won't see your answers. All right. Brian, first round, first question. The Browns have only beaten the Patriots twice in my lifetime, which is since 1996. Who was their starting quarterback? I had to throw that in there because we got the olds. Who was their starting quarterback in 2010, the most recent time it happened? 30 seconds.
Brady Quinn.
Final answer?
Final answer.
That is incorrect. Pat, 10 seconds for the steal.
Kelly Holcomb?
Final answer?
Yeah.
That is incorrect. I thought this one would be gettable. Let's see if the chat had the right answer here. Yep, Team Crazy Matt got it. Great performance, like I said, from Team Crazy Matt. It's Colt McCoy.
Colt McCoy?
Colt McCoy. You don't remember that?
That was
the Browns. The Patriots.
And the problem is the Browns have had 9,000 different quarterbacks.
The Patriots recovered an onside kick after scoring a touchdown late and then couldn't score. I think Brady might have thrown an interception, something like that. They recovered an onside kick to put the game away, to get back into the game late, and they didn't end up winning.
They also no, are you sure? Because in 2013 they recovered 2 onside kicks and won.
I might be mixing them up. I'll take.
They recovered an onside kick in
the
2013
Colt McCoy game. I might be throwing the onside kick in there. But
Okay.
I do remember the Colt McCoy game. All right, Pat, your question to take.
Wasn't that the Peyton? Was that the Peyton Hillis game?
2013, I think, was the Peyton Hillis game because that
No,
was the year.
because they beat them in 2013.
Peyton Hillis was on the cover of Madden in
2012,
but it was 2011.
So then it was 11. So they must have lost to him 2 years in a row.
All right,
Anyway,
Team Crazy Matt's very good at this.
2010 was the Hillis game. There you go. Okay.
All right, Pat, your question to take a 1-0 lead after one round. The Browns have only beaten Patriots twice in my lifetime since 1996. Which former NFL head coach was their starting quarterback in 2000, the first time that it happened?
Which former NFL head coach was their starting quarterback? Oh, okay. Now I got it. Okay.
Got about 10 seconds.
Oh man.
I'm gonna need a name.
I don't even. I literally. I honestly. I have nobody. I have no idea.
Brian, you're going to get 10 seconds for the steal.
Gary Kubiak.
Final answer?
Yeah.
That is incorrect. I tried to throw the head coach in there because I knew this one was tougher. Is Doug
Dang
Peterson.
it.
Doug
Dang it.
Peterson.
Doug
Oh,
Peterson,
Gary
2000.
Kubiak.
Beat True Bledsoe.
Golly.
Yeah, that was a tough one. I tried to help out a little bit. All right, round 2.
Whew.
Again, for the olds. 2000s NFL.
Oh, hell yeah.
So 2000s means 2000 to 2009, not
Got it.
2000 present.
Yeah.
Okay, Brian. Only 2 running backs scored 100 or more rushing touchdowns from 2000 to 2009. Name both of them. I'm going to give you 60 seconds for this one.
Only 2 running backs scored 100 or more touchdowns.
Rushing touchdowns from 2000 to 2009.
This is the whole NFL.
Yep, all NFL. I'm going to give you a minute because you need to come up with 2 names.
What?
You'll have a similar question. You're going to get the same deal.
Edgerrin James. And LaDainian Tomlinson.
Final answer?
Final answer.
That's incorrect. Pat, I'm going to give you 20 seconds for the steal.
Oh, Danny Tomlinson's definitely on there. And I'm going to go. Oh, boy. It's probably going to be wrong. I'm going to go Sean Alexander.
Final answer?
Mm-hmm.
Pat, you're on the board. It was
Let's
Ladainian
go!
Tomlinson, Sean Alexander.
I got Sean Alexander right 2 weeks ago.
LT had 138, and Sean Alexander had exactly 100. Priest Holmes was next with 78, and then Clinton Portis had 73. So it was a good gap between LT and everyone else.
Well, Sean Alexander had that. Alexander had that one season with like
he was an
18
MVP.
touchdowns or something
2006.
stupid like that, right?
He had like a 3-year stretch. It was Priest Holmes had his 3-year stretch, leading directly into Sean Alexander's 3-year stretch,
Right.
with overlap with psychopath Larry Johnson's like 2-year stretch.
Yeah. I mean,
Larry
obviously,
Johnson was
Tomlinson scored what,
absurd.
27
He was.
touchdowns one year or
Yeah.
something stupid like that.
Yep,
So like, he was
I think he had
obviously
28 rushing touchdowns, 34 total touchdowns that year. 32 or
outrageous.
30. Yeah, 138, 100 next close.
I mean, that's
78
just stupid.
third is just absurd. LT is one of my favorite players of all time, despite his comments about the Patriots.
All
All right, Pat, let me reset the timer here. You're going to have a minute. Similar question.
Okay.
You're on the board. Let's update your score. It's 1-0 here. You can take a 2-0 lead.
Oh, boy.
Only 2 wide receivers have scored 100 or more receiving touchdowns from 2000 to 2009. Name both of them.
Oh, boy. Okay. This is. Okay. Shit. All right.
Yeah, 30 seconds still.
I mean, there's 3 names that I have, so I'm just going to guess 2 of them. And if I'm wrong, then hopefully it'll be, I don't know. I'm going to go Randy Moss and Marvin Harrison.
Final answer?
Yep.
That is incorrect, Brian. You'll have 20 seconds for the steal.
Randy Moss and Terrell Owens.
Final answer?
Final answer.
We have a double steal. That was
No.
Randy Moss and Terrell Owens.
Marvin
Pat,
Harrison was the only other guy I was thinking
Pat-
because I figured you would guess this.
they were good thoughts. Marvin Harrison was Harvin Marison, excuse me. Harvin Marison was third with 95. Randy Moss had 120. T.O. had 114. Harvin Marison had 95. Hines Ward was fourth with 71.
That sucks because the other name I was going to guess was Isaac Bruce.
So, he's down the list.
But he must have been down the list. But I was just thinking, greatest show on turf. He played for
Yep.
quite a few years. You know what I mean? But T.O.
So we have a this T.O.
son of a
one
bitch.
We have a 1-1 game, a little double steal action in round 2, which is massive for Brian after potentially having a chance to
Momentum
be down
is
2-1.
real, baby.
Round 3, we have the Browns. So this is, Browns history. And again, any players named only applies to their Browns career, not their
Jim
overall
Brown.
career. Yes. All right. Let me reset the timer back down to 30 seconds, so you'll have 30 seconds for the rest of these questions. Brian, 3 quarterbacks have started more than 2 seasons worth of games, so 32 games or more for the Browns since 2000. Baker Mayfield, Tim Couch, and who's the third that started more than 2 seasons worth?
That is so disgusting. That's so horrifying. Terrible.
Oh God. I want to say Charlie Fry. but I'm going to say, and it's wrong.
It's got 10 seconds.
Josh McCown.
Final answer?
Yeah.
It's incorrect. Pat?
Derek Anderson. Final answer.
Pat with
Let's go!
back-to-back steals.
Let's
Derek Anderson.
I was going to throw a Seneca Wallace.
I will never forget Derek Anderson because in a knockout pool, I picked the Bengals over the Browns, and the Bengals are winning like 25-0. And then the Browns starting quarterback got hurt, and Derek Anderson came in and threw like 9 touchdown passes, and the Browns won. And I was like, "Are you kidding me?"
For 10-win season.
Yeah,
Pat,
it was like the only game. Oh God,
Pat, a second chance to sweep a category.
All right, here we go.
Your question. Only 4 quarterbacks have won double-digit games for the Browns since 2000. Baker Mayfield, Tim Couch, Derek Anderson, and who? 10 games or more.
It's amazing that this guy won more than 10 games and played less than 32.
Remarkable win percentage for the Browns.
Yeah.
Need an answer in about 5 seconds.
All right.
3.
Tim Rattay.
Final answer. I'm going to have to take it as incorrect. Brian, 10 seconds for the steal.
Josh McCown?
Final answer.
Yep.
Pals, that is Brian Hoyer. Brian
Brian Hoyer. That's right.
I forgot Brian Hoyer existed.
That's right. He went like 7-9 one year, didn't he?
Yep. He won exactly 10 games for the Browns. I forget the number of starts, but it was less than 32. I think it might have been like 23.
Yeah, he went like 7-9 one year with the Browns.
That was probably the peak of his career as a starter. He for Cleveland, he started 16 games.
16 games, went 10-6.
Yeah, he was 3-0 in 2013, 7-6 in 2014.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Best thing that ever happened to the Browns.
Yeah. All right. Scores 2-1, Pat. Brian's going to need to play a little catch up here as we enter the second half of trivia. Round 4 is U.S. men's soccer. Anyone
in the chat get that? Get the Brian Hoyer one?
No one got that category. People didn't even want to throw out guesses. Browns are tough. They've just been so bad. It's tough to do anything with them. All right, U.S. men's soccer. Brian, who has the most career Premier League goals as an American?
Alexi Lawless. Final answer.
That's incorrect. That was very quick incorrect.
This is going to be a quick segment.
Yeah. Landon Donovan. Final answer.
Landon Donovan famously only ever played in the MLS.
I have no idea. Clint Dempsey's from the U.S.? I thought he was from England.
Sounds like a bloke.
Wait, who's the England guy then?
I
thought Clint Dempsey was from England. All right, anyways, whatever.
Clint Dempsey.
I wouldn't have gotten that. If you'd given me 15 tries, I wouldn't have gotten that.
I thought that one was gettable.
Hey, never heard of Clint Dempsey.
Neither of us watch soccer. We watch football, not football.
Pat, who is tied with Clint Dempsey for most career U.S. men's national team goals?
Landon Donovan, final answer.
Alexi Lawless.
Landon Donovan.
Hey, there we go.
I thought this would be gimmies because they're like the two. They're like
unbelievable. I can't believe it.
U.S. soccer players other than Christian Pulisic.
Hey, listen. All that matters is one of the answers is Landon Donovan. That's the guy I know. So there we go. Works out.
So we enter round 5. This is historically where Brian makes his moves. He usually enters this round 5 with like 1 or 2 points. And
Brian has entered the chat.
Yep. This is usually when Brian comes online.
I'm like Jalen Hurts in the second half.
Brian, we have the Patriots. You're gonna have 30 seconds to keep this close. Who led the Patriots in receiving yards in 2006? For you olds, I have some 2000s Patriots questions.
Jabbar Gaffney.
Final answer?
Final answer.
That's incorrect.
Oh,
Pat,
it's not. It's the other
steal.
one. No.
Pat for a big steal.
Riche Caldwell?
It's Riche Caldwell.
Final answer.
It's
50-50 between those two. I couldn't remember which one.
No. Pat, you are dormy. You cannot lose this in regulation at this point. If you get this right or Brian does not sweep every single question remaining, you are still undefeated, my friend.
Well, there we go.
Quick little note on that 2006 season. Riche Caldwell led the team with a whopping 760 yards. Ben Watson had 643.
Wait, hold on. Am I doing it? There's Riche right there.
Mhm.
Hi guys, I'm Riche Caldwell.
Dad jokes on
Yeah.
the old when the olds come in.
And then Ben Watson had 643, and no one else was over 400 yards.
Oh my
Troy
god,
Brown,
dude.
Troy Brown, Kevin Falk. You guys ready for this one? Doug Gabriel. We're in the
Oh
playoffs.
yes.
Don't think
back,
he finished
they
that
got him
season. Or no,
Doug
he
Gabriel,
didn't start that season.
after they got him from
the
Oakland.
Raiders. Yep.
I am
Yep.
tilting
right.
right now.
Pat, for the win
Oh boy.
to remain
No pressure.
undefeated on the season. Similar type question. Who led the Patriots in rushing yards in 2008?
2008. Well, Lawrence Maroney. Final answer.
That is incorrect.
Shit.
Brian, to stay alive. If Brian gets this wrong,
Damn it, I
Pat
know
still
who it
wins.
is.
Brian gets this wrong, Pat still wins. You have 10 seconds for the steal, Brian. You need the answer. 3.
Kevin Falk.
Final answer.
Son of a bitch.
Yep.
That's incorrect.
Oh, really?
Pat has won the game. The answer is Sammy Morris.
Sammy
Slam
Morris.
Oh, I
Slam.
forgot Sammy Morris exists.
Man, I am.
And Sammy Morris.
I just don't know what to say. I'm beside myself.
Yeah.
with the U.S. men's national team talk.
I mean, that was a little bit.
Soccer
Sports
talk.
math? Let's
Sports
go.
math. Pat,
All right, we got to
Pat-
play this one out.
Pat, here's the deal. You've won the game. You have a chance to tie or set a record. If
Okay.
you sweep this category, you will break the record that Keegan set last week for points in the match with 7. Keegan got 6. If you at least get one of these right, you've tied.
Got it.
Either way, you've won. You're still undefeated. You retain the 1 seed. Brian, you're playing for points. Points
And
are
pride.
the secondary.
And
total
pride.
Points are the secondary pride.
All
Tiebreaker.
the pride you can handle. Let's do it.
All right. Sports math, final category. Brian, 30 seconds. I need the sum of Clinton Portis's jersey number, LaDainian Tomlinson's draft slot, and Priest Holmes' all-pro selections.
25.
Final answer?
No, 20 or 31.
Final answer? That's incorrect. Pat, for a chance at the record.
So that means he didn't think Priest Holmes made any All-Pro selections. I'm gonna go with.
No, I'm a bad jersey numbers guy.
I'm gonna go with 32 or 3, 34.
Final answer?
Yeah.
Pat's
Let's go.
32 or 33. Give me 34. That is all.
No. I was saying, did he make 2 or 3 because Portis is 26.
Yep.
LT got drafted 5th, so that's
Yep.
31. So then the only question was, did he make 2 or 3 All-Pros?
Yep, he made 3 All-Pros, 3 in a
There
row,
you
3
go.
first-team All-Pros in a row, and then he didn't do anything outside of
He's
that.
like, what?
He led the league in rushing yards, and then he led the league in rushing yards the first year, and then rushing touchdowns the next 2.
There you go.
Portis is 26, right?
Yeah.
Portis was 26.
And Tomlinson got drafted 5th.
Okay, I forgot that he went 5th. I thought he was
LT was part of the trade. The trade up. Falcons traded.
Yep.
Number 5 for number 1.
Yep.
They drafted Vic, and the Chargers drafted LT.
Yep.
At 5.
All right, Pat. For the record, you get this right, you have set the single game record.
Oh boy.
6 means you would have gotten all of your own questions right. Even if you didn't.
That's true.
That is a great 6 is a great score here.
It's pretty good.
You'd be the first one to cross over getting the majority of total points available here.
All right. Well, let's do it.
So I need the sum of Hines Ward jersey number, Larry Fitzgerald draft slot, and Chad Johnson, also known as Ocho Cinco, all-pro selections.
Okay, 36. I think Fitzgerald won 3, so that's 39. And so 89. I'm sorry, and then Chad all pro selections. Give me 91.
Final answer?
Yeah.
Pat, I fucking love you. That was
Oh,
fun.
let's go!
Pat has the record.
Let's go.
Pat just swept.
That was
I thought
unbelievable.
I didn't think either of you were going to get these. I thought that this sports math was extremely hard. I typically know the answers to the things that I'm writing before I write them.
Well, I know
I did not.
I
did
know
not
the
do
jersey
anything
numbers
to do with
and I
this.
know the draft slots, and so then it just becomes how many all pros do they make, and it's like I just took a shot in the dark and ended up with getting both of them right. I can't believe it.
That was excellent, Pat. Record-setting performance. Post game press conference, Brian. You couldn't really get the ball rolling here. You started off correct answer round 1, and
No, Ryan.
no,
we didn't.
round 2.
We did not
round
get the
2.
ball rolling.
Yeah, you got the correct answer round 2, and that was it. Pat really didn't let you breathe. It's tough to pick up points when your opponent's not getting questions wrong. How do you feel here as you follow 1-4 on the season?
Can't let Pat establish the run. You know what he wants to do. He's as a fellow old and as Pat's got that dad energy going.
Mm-hmm.
You can't let the dad energy establish the run on you, and that's what happened.
It's true. Double steal in the second round was pretty exciting. Exciting.
That was a good round. This is a fun
Hey,
one.
I think we can.
It was a good one.
I think we can definitively say tonight, momentum is not real.
Pat, how do you feel all season? The crooked voting board, aka me, the comments. Keegan himself have been hyping up Keegan, and you're just sitting here. You're saying, okay, cool. Keegan's gonna set the record. Keegan's gonna be undefeated, the 1 seed. I'm gonna take it from him. Keegan's gonna set the record. I'm gonna take it from him. Do you feel disrespected? Do you feel like you are the favorite to win this whole thing?
Listen, as Ted Washington famously said, I do my talking on the field and not, you know what I mean? I let my play do the talking. So I don't need to make any inflammatory statements. Keegan is a very tough opponent. Brian is a very tough opponent. He had an off day today. But Brian is a very tough opponent. Spags,
we're building for the future,
is also a very tough opponent as well. He's young. Spags is young still, is the issue. You know what I mean? Like it's not his fault. So he can, you can get got on any day.
Fair, Keegan and Spags are about the same age. I think Keegan's even a little younger.
But Keegan
eats sports.
Keegan has like the soul of like a 90-year-old. Yep. You know what I mean?
Brian can make all the throws.
Absolutely. And Dark Blue, just to clarify, I'm not exact. I don't know if this is a joke, but just to clarify, because I have the notes here. Hines Ward wore number 86. Larry Fitzgerald was drafted 3rd, and Chad Johnson made 2 All-Pros. So 86 plus 3 plus 2 is 91.
Yeah.
I figured. Just wanted to clarify because I had the note here.
I didn't have 85 selections.
All right.
Fellas, thanks for hanging out. Next week we have Keegan and Spags in their first matchup of the season. So we're getting down to it. We're gonna be doing I think after the bye week we'll start the tournament. So we're getting close to it.
I like it.
Let's get out of here. We've gone 3. It's now time for us to punt. Brian, give me your score prediction for the game.
This weekend's game.
Yeah, this weekend's game.
The football game.
Yeah, the football game that's played on the field in Gillette Stadium.
I like 29-22 Patriots.
No.
Smart, okay.
Is that a scoregami? It might be a scoregami. 29-22.
29 is like an instant scoregami.
Maybe not though, but you never know.
Pat, what do you got?
I'm gonna go 24-20 Patriots.
I'm gonna go a bit lower scoring. I think it's a close enough game that if Nick Chubb plays, I might take the Browns, and if he doesn't, I might take the Patriots in like a 3-point game either way. I'm gonna go 20. I'm gonna go 17. I'm gonna go 20-13 Patriots. 20-13. 2 field goals, 2 touchdowns, touchdown, and 2 field goals for the Browns.
There you go. All right.
Let's get out of here. Pat, you guys recording tonight?
We are not. We are recording tomorrow night. I don't think we're gonna be live though.
Okay. All right, so everyone tune in for that on Friday when it drops.
29-22 would not be scoregami according to Team Crazy Mac. Happened 6 times.
Thank you, Matt, for the quick look up. We appreciate you. We got 31-28 Patriots. This is a very high scoring game by Dark Blue Gold. All right, let's get out of here. Check out the Pat's Nation podcast on Friday. Follow Brian and Pat on Twitter. You can see their handles right next to their names here, and we will get out of here. We'll see you next week. Have a good night.